How do we start business credit? And I'm telling you, it's not easy all the time. Here's the reason why. Hello everyone, this is Jose Baeza and welcome to another episode of the JB Show. Today we're going to be talking about an amazing topic, which is how to build business credit and why it's important. So I get asked a lot of questions, so stay tuned. If you haven't hit the subscribe button or the like button, make sure to do so because it does help a lot within our channel and the YouTube algorithms. So please go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and click on the like button. So again, let's go ahead and get this started. Hey guys. So I am super excited because I get asked a lot as to, hey, how do we start business credit? And I'm telling you, it's not easy all the time. Here's the reason why. Because not many people know how. I get approached so many times with individuals wanting to get $500,000 to $1 million. And guess what? They haven't even built their personal credit. Now, is it possible for you to have access to business credit without having personal credit? Yes, of course, it is possible. But guess what? It's not going to be easy. And here's the thing. Right now, with the financial institutions having to deal with COVID and some people maybe not being as financially stable as before, it's not going to be easy, but it is possible. And guess what? It's just like my mentor always said, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? Building business credit, it is simple, but it's not easy because it takes time. It takes time. The pyramids weren't built in one day. And the thing is that it's going to take time for anything that's good. Usually it takes a little bit of time. I mean, whether you have skills in your current job or you're just starting a job, time's only going to go ahead and make it better, right? It's just like aged wine or aged cheese. It's just going to make it better. So same thing with credit, you guys. In order for you to build business credit, I highly recommend to start with your personal credit. The reason why is because even though you're starting business credit, sometimes some of these institutions are still going to ask for you to put in your personal credit, to put your personal social security number. And the thing is that you're going to have to do so because if you don't, it doesn't mean that they're going to run your credit just so they can put inquiries and then hopefully they'll give you business credit that reports to your personal. There are business credit lines and credit cards that do report to your personal, but there's also a lot of business credit cards or even just business lines of credit or lines of, or trade lines that don't report to your personal. And the thing is that you're going to have to build your personal credit. So I highly recommend doing that first. Go to a website, right? Go to any website that gives you a credit report. It doesn't have to be anything fancy if you're not if you're not in it to win it yet. And I don't mean that in a negative way or anything like that. But if you're in a situation where you're just kind of curious to see what your credit is, I recommend just going to your credit card. If you have a credit card, usually they're giving you right now, credit reports for free. Now, I wouldn't recommend looking at those alone if you're looking and you're serious about building business credit, because those credit reports, there's a reason why they're free. There's a reason why they're free. And excuse me there, coffee. And that's because they're not always accurate, right? They're giving you something for free, but in this world, nothing is for free. There's always something behind it, right? Even though it may be free and it's not going to cost you a lot, there's typically something behind it, whether you're going into an email, if they're asking for your email, that's valuable enough for at least for them, because they can go ahead and promote services to you in the future. So, and also if you give them access to your credit report, sometimes they get a chance to see what is it that you're purchasing, what are you getting, so they can give you some offers in credit cards in the future. So there's nothing necessarily free about that, but it may not cost you anything because you may not care, or simply this may not be important enough for you to really put any consideration into that. But go ahead and either go to your credit report or your credit card and just simply see if they give you a credit report there. But I would recommend doing Experian.com, myfico.com. Those are really good websites where you can go ahead and get access to your credit report. That's pretty accurate. It is coming directly from a bureau for Experian, and even some of the other bureaus like TransUnion or Equifax. But I would start off with Experian. Now, sometimes they even give you like a free trial where you only pay $1. But again, within 7 days, they'll probably try and charge you. It's definitely worth it. You know why? Because $37 is nothing compared to the amount of credit that you could possibly get. And that's the thing. You have to put in some skin. You have to put some skin in the game. If you want to win in this financial world when it comes to credit, you're gonna have to put some effort. You're gonna have to put some money into it. And the thing is that more than anything, you're gonna have to put some time, because time is really valuable. Now, when it comes to building business credit, once you get a chance to look at what your credit report looks like, credit institutions typically like to see anything above 680, ideally a 720 and above. But if you have a 680 to 700, that's almost on the verge of like qualifying. Does that make sense? So you want to go ahead and get started with taking a look at your report, seeing where you're at. If you're at a 680 to a 700, now be very careful as to whether or not you decide to apply. Here's why. Because you're on the verge. You're literally on the edge of either getting denied or getting approved. And it's a bit of a risky move there, because you could, with a couple more changes to your report, possibly get a 700 plus. And if you get a 700 plus, then the odds are more in your favor. So you want to be very careful. If you're on the verge of 680 to 700, what I would look at it and see if there's any improvements that you could do. It could be as simple as paying off a credit card, or there's an inquiry in there that's about to fall off, and you just need to wait a couple of months, or maybe a month, or who knows, maybe a couple of days. I mean, see, when it comes to credit, it's almost like a hit or miss in a way. But unless you know what you're doing, and unless you're being guided by right mentorship, then you're gonna be good. But if you have absolutely no idea as to what to do, how to do it, and you're trying to educate yourself, I would recommend reaching out to an expert. And if you want to reach out to myself or my team, feel free to do so. I'm a big believer in education, so you can always ask. See, one of my mentors always said that he may not know the answer to everything, but he knows the right person that he can ask. And so therefore, he doesn't have to know everything. So I encourage you guys, if you guys do not know exactly, where you stand, and maybe perhaps you have already looked at the first step, which is looking at your personal credit report, go ahead and reach out and we'll be glad to look at it. The next step is figuring out how to improve it, right? The topic is how to build business credit. So this all comes back to it, but I'll show you two ways, or I'll share with you guys two ways. One of them is trade lines, and the other one is using business credit that's leveraging your personal credit. If you're doing trade lines, I can actually send you over a list of the trade lines that we use on our end. We could certainly help you with it, but again, I am a big believer in education. And for those of you guys that are interested in learning how to do it on your own, I do have a PDF that we actually send out to our clients after they're done with our funding. And I'd be glad to share that over with you. You just want to go ahead and reach out via email, and then just put in YouTube and on the subject line, and just put trade lines report. And just go ahead and write me a little message that you want me to send you over the report, and I'd be glad to do so. In this report, we actually share some of the accounts that we have. Some of them are very basic, such as Home Depot, Office Depot, and you want to start off with, even with Dell. You guys can start anywhere. It's trade lines are important. It's simply a matter of opening up an account, starting off by buying something very simple, very inexpensive, and then just making payments and building your business credit that way, because you're using your EIN. The number one thing about business credit is that you have to have business. You have to have an EIN number, and it has to be a legalized business. So when you have your EIN number, that's the social security number in a way for the business, and therefore you're just gonna need to go ahead and start using that when you're building trade lines. Now, some of these accounts within the trade lines, whether it be Home Depot, Office Depot, any of these other accounts that we'll have in the report, once you're done with it, I mean, it's going to be so well worth it, because again, you won't have to use your personal credit anymore. But for now, you do have to use your personal credit. Now, the fastest way to building business credit, in my opinion, is more towards leveraging your personal credit report. 680 and above, 720 ideally. If you have that, then what I would recommend is you want to go ahead and apply for business credit cards. And the business credit cards, it is going to ask for some of your EIN number, your business information, and it is going to request information about the owner, which is yourself, of the company. So having said that, you want to go ahead and apply there, but you want to be very, very careful, you guys, because see, the thing is that even though you're applying for business credit, they are going to be doing a hard pull, a hard credit pull. The hard credit pull is one of those situations where you're just gonna have to take that. You still want to go ahead and get to where you won't have to use it in the future, but for now, even though they're giving you an inquiry, keep in mind, now I can't speak for everyone, but through my company, we do a lot of lines of credit for businesses, and we have to be very careful when it comes to doing a hard pull, because it is going to take a toll on your credit. It is going to hit your credit. So lenders typically don't like to see anything above 4 inquiries. But again, sometimes it's inevitable for anyone to not have more than 4 inquiries. But the key is to not jeopardize it and not just go crazy with the inquiries. You want to be very careful, because the moment that you go online and you apply, it is one hard pull. But guess what? The moment that you educate yourself and you know exactly how much or what are the qualifications for that particular line of credit or that particular account, then it's going to be well worth it. You know why? Because now the odds are in your favor. If the odds are in your favor, then you have no issue with it. Does that make sense? You have no issue with it, because now you're going to be getting approved. You might have gotten 1 inquiry, 2 inquiries, but guess what? At least you got approved for that account. Now, keep in mind, depending on how strong your personal credit is, that's how strong your business credit is going to be. Does that make sense? Because the business credit right now at this point is going to be leveraging your personal. And so the stronger that your personal credit report gets, the stronger that your business credit report will be as well, because your business credit will be built upon your personal credit. Does that make sense, you guys? So it is amazing to kind of get a feel for it, because it's exciting, but yet the adrenaline gets pumping, since you may not get approved, but you could also get approved. And that's the thing. Everybody has to start that way. You just have to be very careful. You want to educate yourself. If you have access to an expert, whether it be our company, there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help, with having an expert actually do it for you. There's value there, you guys, because for you to fix your credit, it is going to take months. Credit reports, they get looked at every single month. So any changes that you do last month, it's probably going to report this month. Changes that were done this month, they're going to report next month. Does that make sense? So you want to simply just go ahead and look at that. Figure out what options you have at the moment, educate yourself, simply not go ahead and just randomly apply for accounts, because again, if you randomly apply, you're jeopardizing your credit and you don't want to go backwards. You want to go forward. Once you build your business credit, it's going to be amazing and get to the point where you can leverage your personal credit first. So look for business credit lines, look for business credit cards that will leverage your personal credit. But with these particular business credit cards that I'm talking about right now, there are some that will not only leverage your personal credit to get you access to credit, but they will not show up on your personal credit report. They will not show up. It's only going to show up in the business. If you don't pay your credit cards, if you don't pay your business credit cards, they will show up on your personal credit. All right? They will show up. It's going to show up as delinquent. But again, you don't want to get to that point either way. So the only way that they will show up is if you don't pay them. Now, if you do pay them on a consistent basis, they're not going to show up on your personal report, but they are going to be building your business credit. There's so many other ways to do it, but I'm going to keep this video short so that you guys can go ahead and just get yourself on that journey of keep educating yourself, keep learning more about business credit lines, how to get started. Just to recap, you want to go ahead and start building your personal credit. You want to get it to a 680 to a 700 minimum and a 720 ideal plus. You want to start building that. You want to open up some trade lines with companies like Home Depot, Office Depot, trade lines that can be used under your business credit. And if you have any questions or you need any help with that, you can go ahead and send me an email. I'll send you a list of the trade lines, the accounts that we use. Last but not least, you want to go ahead and figure out how can you improve your credit. Apply for business credit cards and be careful with it. And if you need to, just go ahead and get an expert to do it for you or with you. And yeah, so again, guys, this is Jose Baeza. I am super excited for this video because there's many more to come. Make sure that you click on the like and the subscribe button. I am very excited to get to know you guys more. So hopefully some of you guys send me a message, and looking forward to doing that. Bye-bye.